NoaNet was founded in 2000 on an idea and a principle of equity. So when you look at what was happening in the broadband community, in downtown Seattle, for example, a home could get 100 megabit per second service. A business could get gigabit or better. 8 miles away in Kitsap County, you couldn't get any of those. And if you got them, they were literally 10 times the cost. So what would cost a business $3,000 would cost NoaNet, or cost a community $30,000 a month, just 8 miles away. NoaNet was founded by public utility districts to create an opportunity for economic development in those areas outside of the metro areas, and to create utility operations to be more economically and long-term sustainable.
The founding leaders of NoaNet all had previous jobs with public utility districts, or owners of our organization. And as they were looking at their local rural economies, they were noticing that we had a large amount of people who were moving away simply because they wanted to grow and develop a technology background, a technology career field, and move on from the agricultural and timber base of most of our rural communities. NoaNet leaders learned and discovered that it was important that we bring broadband technology to our small towns in order to stop that reality. If we have broadband in our small communities, then we can encourage economic prosperity and we can encourage technology, and that technology will bring our kids back home. NoaNet has been working towards accomplishing a digital divide solution now for over 20 years. We began by developing local loop infrastructure to serve our local communities with our public utility districts. From that, we knew we needed to build a statewide network to connect these communities together. It's one thing to have broadband in your local area, but if you can't get to the outside world, you've accomplished nothing. And so NoaNet works to build this infrastructure from community to community to community across our entire state. And through these last 20 years, we've been able to accomplish that. Now our efforts go more towards creating infrastructure within our local communities beyond what we've already accomplished. It is very important that each of our community leaders recognize the value of broadband and champion those efforts necessary to solve this digital divide problem.
Fiber brings opportunities to do so much. The schools can have distance learning or tablet learning or different curriculum and syllabuses that they didn't have before.
NoaNet works to educate the industry by being a wholesale carrier. We engage with carriers across company. We have network-to-network interfaces, and we work with them to talk about new services and new plans, new coverage areas. And we work with local communities to determine where there's gaps in coverage. So we continue to work with those communities, and then we will work with our service providers and with private companies to try to bring those two together. So NoaNet spends its time trying to make sure that we can educate the carrier community and the local communities and bring those two together where possible.
Yeah, I mean, the beautiful part about where we're at, with technology is there's a lot of different ways to be able to serve a community. So if we're able to, put fiber in the ground, that's obviously our first preference. If we run into areas where that's not cost effective, we can do it aerial, take it over the utility poles. And then there's also microwave and wireless. So you're able to do point-to-point shots and things that still can get that service to that community. Bridging that digital divide provides opportunities for jobs. The infrastructure, obviously, and the expansion in those communities is very powerful.